everybody, and happy Sunday morning. It is nice for you to join us here. Mandy, how you doing?
Oh my goodness, I had a moment there. I was like, why isn't it working? But we got it, and everyone hung in with us. Can you hear us? That is the next question, so
Right.
let us
Yes,
know.
that's
This is
always the
kind
big
of
question.
the test, right? So we'll see how that goes.
But it is nice to have you here. And really, this morning, this is going to be kind of a chill,
Yeah.
casual stream. Mandy and I have been trying to figure out how we can approach game content in a way that feels really natural to us. And so here we are, really just using one game to test a show concept that we have in our heads that we want to make happen, but we have to do a test run. So that's what you're
Correct.
watching right now. We are going to review oh, floor
We're
plan,
so excited.
a roll and write game, of course. And really, what we're going to do is we are just going to talk about the game a little bit, give you a little bit of an overview of it, tell you what we think about it. But because we are live streaming the review, hey, guess what? We can answer any questions you have about it. We're happy to answer questions you have about the gameplay or the player count or the components or anything like that. We've got the game on hand. So if you want to take a closer look, we can show you. And we thought it would just be a really fun way to show off games and take live questions about the game instead of, sometimes you watch a review and then you're like, oh, well, what about this? And then you kind of hope to hear an answer. This way, boom, you kind of get some questions answered right away. So that's what we're testing out right now. We're just going to do one game
Yeah.
this morning, and it's a quick one.
Yeah. Going forward, we'll be
Uh,
having more. More.
yes.
More.
So that is the deal. Floor plan from Deepwater Games. This is designed by Merrick Tupi, and it's available for pre-order right now on Deepwater Games website for $20 US. So it's quite affordable. And we have uh, 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 we can show you the components, but it's a really simple game from a component point of view, as many Roland Wrights are. You get a pad of score
Do you
sheets.
want me to switch over, Suzanne, so
Yeah,
people
why
can
don't you
see?
you
Yeah,
can just
pop
show
on
them? Yeah, we've
over.
got it laid out.
Oh, hold on a
You're
second.
gonna
There we
get
go.
Mandy. Carrie says that they love your hair color,
Oh, thanks.
which
It's
it does
new.
deserve acknowledgement.
Thanks so much.
uh, we have a pad of score sheets that you're going to get, or play sheets, two standard D6s, the rule book, and then a bunch of scoring cards in different categories: layout, design, and build. And you're going to play with just one of each of these scorecards, each category, in each game. So there's a nice amount of variability in this, right, in terms of how each game plays out. And what's going to happen is you shuffle up the layout, the design, build, select them. Everybody gets a score sheet, and then everybody is active on every turn. And depending on the dice that you get, when the dice are rolled, you're going to get, say, a 3 and a 6, as you can see here. Well, the 3 and the 6 lets you do one of two things. You can draw a room. You can draw a 3x6 square room pretty much anywhere on the map that you want to. And you can see on the score sheet, there's a really nice player reference. And a 3 can be a bedroom, and a 6 can be a living room. So you're
Are
going to
you
get to draw.
Are you showing this on with your hand on the screen, Suzanne? I just want to make
I'm
sure
not.
that okay,
No,
perfect. I just want to make
no.
sure that I'm
Yeah.
not forgetting
You
something.
can draw a 3x6 room, and it can be either a bedroom or a living room. Or you can use those dice to draw features. And a 3 is a set of windows, and 6 are stones. So that's the whole game. Is the dice are going to be rolled. You're going to choose to use those dice to draw rooms or to draw features. And maybe I can hold up a score sheet to the
Oh, okay.
camera
Let me
here.
switch back here to the. There we go.
Uh, you can use the dice to draw rooms or features completely by your choice. And ultimately, what you are doing is you are trying to draw a house that meets the requirements of the 3 scorecards that are available. Now, there is some element to help with, the luck of the dice. So along the bottom, as you score one of the cards, you get to fill in one of the 6 stickies with your points for that. So, for example, if you scored the Grand Foyer, you would get 6 points, and you could fill in one of these. And then underneath each of those stickies, there are bonuses. And those are bonus actions you can take that will let you have the ability to turn a die value into a wild so that you could use it for whatever value you want, double up on a room, double up on some features, things like that. And really, that's as simple as the game is. It's very straightforward from a rules perspective. And really where it gets super duper interesting is in terms of meeting the variability of the scorecards and that fascinating choice and the fascinating element of seeing what's happening with other players in terms of everybody gets the same rules. Everybody has the same choice.
Right.
But somehow everybody does it differently. And Mandy, I wish we'd saved your score sheet from this
Oh,
game.
well, wait now.
Okay, yeah. Do you have it?
Oh, wait, you gotta see my house. Now, don't laugh. It is all over the place. I have living rooms and bedrooms and pools beside.
So put it up because, hello, Mandy and I, these are from the exact same game. We had the
Oh, wait.
exact same role
Yeah.
every time to deal with. And look at how different our layouts are. Now, you'll also note Mandy totally walloped me.
I love it how your fingers
score.
over your score, and I'm like, here's my score.
Yeah,
Look at
okay.
that big 52.
There you go. I will highlight my embarrassing loss. I'm not above saying that I lost the game.
Oh, gosh, that's funny.
But yeah, I mean, it is that simple. It is a straightforward roll and write game. Now, the architectural element, right? This idea of drawing a house plan, I think is so fabulous for this format. It feels creative, it feels fresh. I know of only one other game that does this, and it's out of Japan, and it's very hard to get in the North America, and it's a fascinating kind of win condition because players vote on which house they did best, which is always a little weird for me. Sure. But somebody's asking in Twitch if it came with colored pens. No, but I think that that's a great point. I really like using colored pens.
Tell them about your pens, Suzanne, because I was very excited when you told me about these pens. So,
and I first learned about them, I think, through Emma Larkins and Gil Hoba. Emma Larkins is the game designer of Abandon All Artichokes, which is out right now.
Love it.
I use, so just like I have favorite dry erase pens for laminated sheets, when I'm drawing just on paper, I have favorite pens for that too. I use the Pilot Friction brand erasable pens.
I'll put it in the chat here.
Are amazing. They come in a huge variety of colors, and hello, they actually erase. It's heat sensitive ink, and the eraser on top just generates friction and heat. That's why it's called Friction, Frixion.
Oh, oops, I forgot the I.
And they completely work fabulously. So if you're ever looking for something like that, Friction erasable pens work wonderfully on standard paper for anything that you may need. So that's what I have on color. So I did make a few mistakes as I was playing and used my eraser, got rid of it, started fresh. No big whoop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a game that if you have colored pens or pencils, go for it because it definitely enhances the feel of the game. So Mandy, you got to play this with me, and I've also played it solo. So you can play floor playing solo, it plays great solo as well, and it's really fun puzzle. What did you think of kind of the architectural element of it?
I was worried, okay? Now, you know about my feelings with games where I have to plan things spatially and whatnot, but I actually liked it when I started off. Like, looking at it, I was like, okay, I'm not understanding how this is going to lay out with a tree, how this is going to lay out with, the different things that they allowed us to do. But I feel once you got into the motion of the game, it made sense. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to say. So, like, I have to show my sheet because it's just so good. Your positioning, I think when we started, you have to start in this middle area here, right? And this really sets the tone of the game and where you want it to progress, as well as those cards, and I don't know if you have them handy, Suzanne, about how you were going to eventually lay out your area. So I know Suzanne's probably going to hold those up over... Yeah, I can see one. So layout, exactly. So these are really important because this sets it up, and I don't know if that you meant structure-wise what you meant for the game, but that to me was really important of where you were going forward with that. So that
Mhm.
really, and I managed to score all of those and some of those twice.
Yeah, I know. I know, Mandy. I know.
And so someone is spatially challenged like myself, I thought this would be a problem, but no, I actually found this was a really nice guiding way to work my structure. So I made a really large pool, but in doing so, that allowed me to connect other things to, kind of meet other criteria. So I really liked the way that was set up, and I liked the choice, the options of doing, either the room or two other things on the list, like creating a tree or a pool or stone or something to that effect. So I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's how I felt about that.
Yeah, I just personally, I think it's uh just a fun thing to draw, right? One of the criticisms of many roll and write games is that you're just crossing the square off
Right.
or just writing a number. Some roll and write games have really introduced coloring or where you're drawing shapes more, but this one feels creative as you're playing it, which I think is really, really nice. Now, I was talking to Eric Yurko from What's Eric Playing, and he mentioned a good point that you can win the game and have a house that looks completely non-functional,
Like mine.
which is an interesting comment, and I get that. But for me personally, I don't care. Like, I think that's part of the fun and humor. And Mandy, even when you and I were playing together during one of the games, you were telling this ridiculous story about your house, about how you gave a house tour, basically.
Right? And I wonder if that could be like, make it more of a storytelling aspect or some kind of expansion. Seriously, I thought that was fun. When we were talking about, so we walk through the house and on the right you'll find my pool. Yes, you walk through my house and there's the pool. I mean, I think that's a fun part of it. And I don't know if you just want a house rule or do that as a fun thing, but I thought that was great that encouraged that story. Do you know what I mean?
And the story was ridiculous.
Oh,
It was
so silly.
like, here's my first living room, and
Yeah.
now we're going to walk through the luxurious closet into the kitchen, and here's my other living room.
Or the deck. You have to walk
Yeah.
all the way around the house to get to the deck.
Meanwhile, I had a house, and oops, it didn't have a bathroom in it, but it had two large pools. I'm not going to say what one of those pools may have been used
Sure.
for, since the house didn't have a bathroom. But I thought that was an interesting kind of thematic thing, that without a doubt, there's a mechanical element where the house, the logic of real architecture doesn't necessarily have to come into play.
Exactly.
Arguably, another, thing is, depending on the scoring card mix, some things feel less doable. Some things feel more like they're in sync with each other.
Right.
My reaction to that is, again, that's something that doesn't really bother me, because all players are dealing with the same issue at the same time. So if you get a wonky, or if you get a set of scoring cards that just isn't working for you, or more importantly, you get, and more likely, you're getting dice rolls that you're like Mandy, you and I were playing, and admittedly, I switched dice in the middle of one of our games.
It was so crazy.
Because we just kept rolling sixes.
Oh, goodness.
We couldn't not roll a six. It was wild, and you're getting these giant rooms or just a ton of stones, because sixes equal stone in this game.
Right.
Like, we're switching dice.
Yeah, that's it.
But ultimately, Mandy, you and I, when we were playing, we had the same problem to deal with, and how we chose to deal with that problem, that's the game.
Right.
And so I like that element. It is a game that you can play with as many people as you have player sheets, as long as one of the players has a copy of the game. Kind of like bingo, calling the numbers out and letting that go. So I know for some of you, you may know that there is this little convention or event called Gen Can't. And one of the things we like to do at Gen Can't is play big digital games, big virtual games together. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to play Floor Plan this year for Gen Can't, because it's fun. And it plays hundreds of people if we wanted to. And won't that be epic? Like, I'm really excited to play Floor Plan and then have people share their final houses on social media, so we can just see how different everybody's house is when they had the exact same scoring cards and the exact same die rolls to deal with. And I think that's super cool.
Yeah. It is longer than I thought it was going to be. It's not a bad
Yep.
thing, but it is
Yep.
not, if you're like, oh, I just want a quick roll and write, I don't think this is it. If you just want something just to do very quickly. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there are others that play faster.
Oh, 100%. What do you think, Mandy? I think this one's going to run you typically 40 to 60 minutes,
Yeah.
depending on players, depending on how much chit chat you do, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the way that the game plays is that you get these scoring cards, and each scoring card has 2 scoring elements on it. And you can score them multiple times if you create a situation that meets its requirement again. So the game ends when a player cannot use one of the die rolls legally,
Right.
just because their sheet is essentially full, so that's near the end of the game, or when any player scores one of those scoring elements 6 times.
Yep.
And then that also triggers the end game. So yeah, it's a little richer game. It definitely is going to take you at least 40 minutes to play, I would think.
Yeah, yeah, easy.
And that's okay.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. It's just one of those things you have to know going in. If you're like, oh, I've got 20 minutes before my next game scheduled or whatever, this may not be the one you want to do in that time frame.
Yep. So for me, Floor Plan, I really enjoy it. It has so many elements of roll and write games that I really, really enjoy. Simple rules, interesting choices, that tactile kind of personal element. The personalization element, I think, of roll and writes is so fascinating. And Floor Plan has that in spades. And I think that the ability to play any number of player count, playing solo is fun, things like that. It just has that breadth of player count. It really works for me. And personally, it's a big hit. And quite frankly, it's $20.
Yeah, which is so good.
It's very affordable.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I was skeptical. I'm not gonna lie. At first I was like, oh, I don't know. This looks like, work or school or something. Do you know what I mean? Because I like drawing the little pictures. I'm the one on the roll and writes who likes drawing the little sheep or suns or whatever, So, and I think you can obviously make it your own in that respect as long as you know what shape is which. But starting to play it, I was like, no, I really like the whole, if I put this beside this, I'm going to get this many points and try and make it work. So you kind of lose that whole, you're in your mind, it needs to make sense. No, it doesn't. You're at the end of the day, you're trying to do points. So the theme isn't lost on me, but I definitely, that whole rigidness kind of goes away. So I really enjoyed it. And like I said, for someone like me who's not very good at spatial, games or planning things out, I did fairly well, and I felt good about it. So for me, Floor Plan was a win, and it's a really good price point. I mean, come on, $20. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now it's we have pre-release copies. I believe that the game will be available for pre-order. You can pre-order it from your local game store, or you can pre-order it directly from Deepwater Games website right now. So that's the availability situation on that. And hey, we are live streaming right now. So if you have any questions about Floor Plan, feel free to pop them in the chat right now and we can answer them for you. If not, that's cool too, because that just means maybe we shared solid information up front. Again, I love the idea of using colored pencils or pens for this. It's similar to cartographers, where adding a splash of color can help you visually play the game to distinguish between different elements, but it also adds a little life to it.
Exactly.
One thing I'll mention is that the end game scoring is really simple, because as you score elements, you're jotting them down as you go. There's really only one thing at the end of the game you have to count on your sheet for final scoring. So I do like that the end of the game is pretty quick to tally up your score as well. So there's that. So Rado is in the chat asking, must pick Floor Plan or cartographers? And they're so different.
They are I find them very different. Because you have that element in cartographers, right? Where you can not attack, but you can do bad things to other people, right? You don't have that really in Floor Plan. It's really like your own thing. You're just trying to do it first. I personally find them as two separate games. I mean, both? Is that an option?
Probably not, right? Richard will probably mock you.
You're like, no, pick one.
But I think with Floor Plan, the appeal to me is the architectural element and the choices that you have to make between drawing rooms and drawing elements to get those scoring cards. With cartographers, I think some of the appeal is really in the timing of the scoring cards up
Right.
there. And okay, I'm going to score A, B here, but then I'm not scoring A again for a long time.
Right.
So how do I cater my elements? So I think it just works your brain in a different way.
Agreed.
Cartographers is also one where you can just draw like the
Yeah,
shapes, and then
I do like
how
that.
how much life you want to bring to it is up to you. I've seen some really elaborate cartographer sheets. There is an implementation of cartographers on Tabletopia that's really fabulous that you can give a try as well.
Mm.
Let's see. The Mr. E is saying that they like their roll and writes kind of filler like, and cartographers is as far as they go.
Got it.
They love Trails of Tucana and Silver and Gold. Trails of Tucana, Silver and Gold are great.
Yeah.
I actually think if cartographers is quote unquote as far as you go,
Mm.
floor plan's still in that family.
Oh, for sure.
This is not going to extend past a game of
Absolutely.
cartographers.
Absolutely.
Yep. And see, Michael is saying that they thought about getting Silver Gold. They don't have a lot of roll and write games so far. That's okay. They have Gancho and Clever and Boomerang.
Okay, some good ones.
Which are really, really great. And I like both of those as well. Cameron is saying that Silver and Gold was a little too light. And Silver and Gold is lighter for sure as well. And I would say, I don't know if I could categorize floor plan as heavier than Silver and Gold.
Like, you have another one that you showed us that I feel was quote unquote heavier, which
Demeter.
Yes, Demeter. That was it. That one to me falls into that category versus floor plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say floor plan is heavy.
No.
But it has more complexity. It's more complex than Silver and Gold in terms of, I think, your choices. And also with Silver and Gold, right, there's more predictability because the shapes that you draw are card based.
Right.
And you know what's in that little deck and you know what's come out. It's really easy to track. Whereas with floor plan, because you're using dice, it's completely random every turn.
Exactly.
And you can end up in some really weird situations with those dice and have to deal with them, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Are there any other questions or comments that you wanted to make about floor plan? Drop them in there. Again, Deepwater Games and designed by Merrick Tupy, and I believe that they did the graphic design in-house. Another just random note is that the game, even though you don't need to have characters, the game does have characters associated with the scoring cards. And I really appreciate that Deepwater made a very clear effort to be fun and inclusive and diverse. And that really makes me as a player kind of go, I really like that. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool, right?
Yes, we notice these things. I think a lot of people notice these things, and it's nice to feel like you're a part of something. So, yeah.
So Richard is asking,
what?
Can Suzanne articulate why she's so obsessed? He uses the word obsessed.
Sorry, that was
with roll and writes in general. And then Mandi, he's asking, why don't you go first?
Oh, hold on. Suzanne cut out. I'm going to read the question while she's getting sorted there. I have a strong suspicion. How do I feel about roll and writes in general? Well, when Suzanne comes back on screen, we'll get that all sorted out. But for me, I do like roll and writes. I think my level of enjoyment with roll and writes is not as high maybe as Suzanne. I had to be careful how I word that. I really like them. They're great to carry, to take to events and that sort of thing. But I don't think my obsession level is as high as Suzanne's. So I like them. I enjoy them. They're great to carry with me. But I mean, I'm still into that. I really like crunchier type games. But roll and writes do have a special place for me, as in like great for travel, great to pull out in between games. I don't know if I've actually sat down to say I'm only doing roll and writes. I think I definitely need to throw in a heavier game in the mix. So all that rigmarole to say I enjoy them, but maybe not to the level that Suzanne does. So I think she's back now, so she can
okay.
speak to.
Am I back now? Oh,
you are back
technology.
now.
Yeah. I don't know if obsessed is
the term. While you were gone, I said obsessed. I'm sorry.
I see how it is. It's just the wolves at the door here. But what I can tell you about roll and write games is I love that they're at their basic nature very simple.
Yeah.
Very approachable. And I've put a lot of thought into this, and I mentioned it even with floor plan, is I think that roll and write games give you a connection to what you do in the game in the way other games don't. It is your hand, it is your writing utensil, it is your sheet, it is your handwriting and your drawings that you're putting down there. And that if you're using one of the ones that use paper, you are walking away with a personal artifact. I mean, here I am a couple days later showing you the house I created. And you can see my wonky scores and you can see like, but this is
Right.
mine, right? I made this. And I think that there's something very wonderfully personal about that and very connecting about that. I also just think in general, there's something very primal. I think maybe that's the wrong elementary, maybe,
Sure.
because it just goes back to being a kid and scribbling and drawing. And it's just fun. And I think it just kind of reminds me of that in my heart, right? When I play that, it just brings that feeling up. It's not something I get to do very often. You know, we're all digital, we're all typing all the time, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I think Roll and Writes helps me connect to that in a different way as well. So there's that element. I also love that I think Roll and Write games have a lot of breadth in what they can offer in terms of complexity and depth. And I think we had some of that conversation here even.
Yeah.
Some people are saying they like them lighter as fillers. I like the ones that go into, like, Mandi, when you and I talk
Yeah.
about Demeter,
Right.
right? More complex, but still has that element to it, that handwriting element to it. So, you know, obsessed. I don't know. I'm going to say avid fan.
Uh-huh. Avid fan.
Thanks,
We all know
Mandi.
the
Thanks a
truth.
lot. But, you know, I think that that is potentially a really fun conversation that we could even have in the podcast
Yeah.
episodes that we do, Mandi, is
Absolutely.
kind of how do you like your Roll and Writes filler versus more complex, and why? I think that's because April's in the chat saying that they like Roll and Writes solo more than multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. And in Twitch
I
here
get that
too.
too.
Casual
Yeah.
player, so more games, please. Casual player, yeah. So some people in the chat are saying they like something on the lighter side as
Yeah.
well.
But there you go.
So this was a test to see tech. As you see, tech can be problematic, and internet's been a problem lately. But yeah, we wanted to test out tech. We wanted to test out this format. What do you all think about this? Now, we just did one game. The plan is to do, well, we're working on that, but to do more in an episode. So we'll be looking at possibly reviewing or talking about maybe 4 games as an idea in an episode like this. Do you like the format of us being live? Do you like having a chance to ask us questions in the chat? Possibly even let us know about games you're interested you would like us to talk about. So if you could let us know in the chat, or even if you just want to send an email to myself, Mandi at dicetower.com, and that's Mandi with an I at dicetower.com, or yeah.
Suzanne at dice.com. That's Suzanne with an S at dicetower.com.
Although if you do send it to Mandi with a Y, Kenny has set up another account to bounce to my Mandi with an I account. So you're fine if you make a mistake.
I love it. I love it. God bless Kenny.
Anyway, so much talking. But yeah, so just please let us know. We want to know if this is a format that you will enjoy, or you're kind of, you're like, no, this is not for us, and let us know how we want to take it going forward.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for putting up for the technical kind of hiccups of the beginning. That's life. We're learning, right?
Yeah.
We're all learning. We're all on this journey together. Mandi, thank you so much for all of your hard work putting together the live stream and the simul stream and the chats. You do a really excellent job. And I don't know if people realize how much effort and how good you are at this stuff. So thank you for that.
There's no I in team. Sorry, I've been dying to say that. Okay.
Oh, my good gravy. All right, everybody. Clearly that's it. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us here. We look forward to hearing your comments and your suggestions on this show format. And hey, don't forget to check out our other content. We're going to be playing Lorenzo Il Magnifico coming up on an Apptastic episode. Check out Dice Tower Tonight with Eric and Crystal on Wednesday nights.
Good stuff.
Go out there, get some sunshine, play some games, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you back here very, very soon.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.